And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Whiskerwood. We're in early winter of year 6 here. We should be able to see, now that we've got the heating infrastructure going, that the farms work through the winter. And we may need to start asking for... well, start picking the copper when it shows up. Although that won't be an option until next tax collector in spring. The other option is... there was still a little bit more copper over here underneath where we were farming. Okay, we're going to move you down into the mine. Down here. Yeah, over here, at some point we're just going to have to go chasing after copper. Like, we can see there's a little bit of copper here. That actually would be a terrible place to start the mine inward. Okay, wood stockpile's starting to come back up again. Let's raise the plank limit back up to 500. So the plank makers' sawmills can spool up again. Well, the single sawmill, because we're running it with catalyst, and it's producing enough otherwise. Oh no, I have two. I was getting confused with the carpenter. We're also running the catalyst to make vices and furniture. Yeah, so everything right to this road, we've filled the holes in, so we're definitely free to pretty freely clear over here. I think we're going to make this a big, wide open area for farming, specifically mushroom farming. The road is there. So everything to the right of that can be basically clear cut. Make way for mushroom farms. Okay. Although none of that's providing copper, that's mostly providing iron ore and potash. So we should have lots of fertilizer. Nope, we've got lots of fish. So maybe over-stockpiling fish a bit. Alright, we got so much fish. I'm gonna come over here and tell you Don't go over 1,000 fish. Otherwise we're just going to be bloating up the stockpiles with it. There we go, end of day 177. Definitely making good approval. Making almost enough to go from 0 to full every time, which is nice. And here comes winter, so we can see all the places we don't have enough heating. Oh, the steam system's empty. Okay. So we maybe have enough heating, but we maybe don't have enough steam generators. So that's what we're going to be working on next. One problem with that is, I suppose, I don't have any copper to do plumbing with, so I can't actually move the water around very much. Yeah, that may be a problem. Yeah, I have no copper, so I can't do any plumbing. So we're going to have a bad habit of the steam's going to fluctuate on and off until we can get more boilers going. Which is more copper. Let me yoink the miner from the miners down here. So specifically go do copper mining. Oh, because that's immediately into the farm. Okay. So at least I am assured that I can't screw up my farms accidentally. Because I've already got them designated, it won't let me dig up the actively used farm tile. Well, that's the case there. I can't... oh no, it will let me dig those ones. That one it's not letting me, because that one is a actively used farm tile. Those ones are not. Yeah, we must be just bouncing on the line where we've got just enough steam generation. Or not, let me rephrase that. I've just barely don't have enough steam generation. Because this fires up, they all warm up, and they all start to cool down as the next wave comes in. Or a boiler or two would probably do it. But the main thing stopping us from doing more boilers is not enough copper. Yeah, if everything's going according to plan, we should be able to continue farming. Oops. And I suppose we're actually underwater where we're mining there, okay. Out under the ocean there. Not by a lot, but notable amount. go up through here. That's rock salt, not copper. Waiting on more copper to come in. Copper ore. We just set that mine up, although it's only one mine, so it's not going to be the most productive source of copper. Grab another miner and put him over here. Some sort of reason. Find some mine, or find some copper to mine. Okay, so it's not just copper down there, but there's a little bit of copper down there. Yeah, over here we know most of the ores that we're trying to mine are potash and iron. Freezing triage. We did have someone to... Oh, okay. We had someone get sick, actually go to triage? Oh no, we're getting complaints because the medical triage is not being warmed. Although there's no one there, so it's not the end of the world if it's cold. We're just going to get complaints about it due to the cycling of the heat state. Okay, 178. And at this point in the winter, we'd be having mild pollution all the way up at the top of complaints because we weren't running the heaters. We're running the heaters now, so it's better than nothing, but definitely could use some more boilers. Even if I've done like what I've done here, put them on the bridge area, so we don't have to spend a lot of plumbing to get to them. I still need a little bit of copper to set them up. Cutter most of the way up the side here. Up another rung. Another steep ladder to get up more. Supply ship. I don't need logs. We're going to go for the medium choice here. But yeah, until we get more copper bars in, we're just gonna have to suffer with the heating system cycling. And that needs a water pipe connection as well, so that's also copper. We now have access to masonry. Almost got the holes filled in on this level. Okay, you were my copper miner, so we want to obviously keep you mining if there's copper in the hill to be found. There's some copper. Here's some copper. Can't dig that one, and apparently we didn't have quite line up on my multiple levels there, so it stopped earlier than I was expecting it to. I'll get back to working again, at least. And we got flour, we got 100-something flour. Yeah, fuel and berries and stuff. I think we want this the other side of the island. 300 again is running out of cold, although if we had patience, that'd be a problem. We don't have any patience. Everyone's being kept warm enough. Okay, 179. And again, people, as much as I'm concerned about the cycling on the heat system, it's apparently not showing it was a real problem for the Whiskers. It's better than nothing, and they're appreciative of it. About halfway through winter here. And this is the problem that come spring will start to solve itself, because we'll need a lot less heating. Camp is idle. May mean you're completely out of coal and copper to mine that mine, yeah. Oh, there's a little more coal in the mine. Okay. There's the mine. There's the coal. We might have to move. Well, we're going to move it in a bit, I think, for copper when it runs out again. Okay, there's some copper. How much do I need? Getting a boiler running. Question is, do I do an emergency boiler like we did here, where it's on the bridge, and that's close to the existing plumbing? You know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. An emergency one like this. But the pollution is maybe not ideal for it being here, but we can get it plumbed real quick. And reasonably cheap. There's advanced belts, okay. We're going to stop researching for a bit, because that's one of the things that eats copper. Eats the copper ore. Or, well, eats the copper bars, right. Eats copper and bronze bars. So we'll get you there, that'll chop those trees down. That won't take you particularly long to do. Okay, now we're waiting for people to deliver fuel to it. Still not quite there with the fuel stockpile. We're definitely getting closer. That's not what I wanted designated. I realize we're set up to mine off the end of the island, which is not what we want. Let me find a miner. Swap to mine tool. Don't ask me how they stopped it from flooding in that spot, but they did. Okay, don't mine further out that way. Good to remind myself. If anything, we might want to fill that bit in. And then I accidentally designated to go down a floor, which is not what I intended to do. Don't mind that, please. At least not yet. Grab you for this. I'm not going to trust it to be smart, so we're going to do one at a time. We're going to start filling back in, so... Yeah, we've got a little weird bit here where we're out under the water, but we'll float back in. Hopefully it'll look less weird when it's fixed. Yeah, we don't quite have enough in the boiling department yet. Although we have just enough heat that everyone is not complaining about the cold, which is good to see. Not complaining about the cold, not complaining about... no, just crap. Not complaining about the cold and not complaining about... pollution, because we haven't had to turn any of the fires on yet. Let's unpause, let it brighten up a bit so I can see what I'm trying to do. Okay. Plumbing to come there. That's the one that costs the material we're short on, which is copper. This one's actually a cheap one, because it only costs iron, which we've got. Okay. So the hope is we can get enough steam being generated that we don't have the steam infrastructure turn off and on and off and on. Which really requires us to have a little bit of a surplus during the day, so that when people are taking baths at night, there's still a little bit left in the tanks for them to take baths. Okay. That's the tin miner. Tin and rock salt miner. Okay. We got another miner that wants... Or no, this is the woodcutter, which I prepped a spot for. That's what we did that for. Yes. Oops. Have you ran the wrong way? Oh, no, it doesn't work the way I'm thinking it does. Okay. I didn't need to build the floor to put it there. I just needed to tell it it's going there. And it would have built the supports for itself. There we go. Yeah, we have a way. We don't have... Oh no, I do have a way over there. Lift back, splitter, filter, extractor. Of course, costs copper, so if we want to get stuff out of the warehouse, which we do at some point, yeah, it's going to cost copper. Very small warehouse that can receive resources from conveyors. Only accepts resources from conveyors. Okay. Logs and planks, yeah. So actually, when it comes time just to run this across the thing, it's just going to cost a lot of lumber. Mostly for the supports and the distance. Shouldn't be too bad. 5 copper to get it going, and then we got to run it to where we want it, which is probably all the way at the other end. We'll probably put it somewhere along here or here, so the pollution goes off. Places where we don't mind it. Okay, and it does look like when we fill in a spot, it goes back to looking like it's normal. Holding it down, which is what I wanted to do. Okay, so you fill that spot in. Okay, you might legitimately at this point be done. Oh no, we got some coal. We can mine. So mine you, and mine you. Never mind, you're not done. Oh, we are definitely finding a nice vein of copper to chase through the mountain here, which is good to see. Definitely needed more copper. Okay, good to see that you're idle for the moment. Means we move you back to the surface for filling the remaining holes up here. Almost some of those, too. And then up here, I've got to decide what I want to do with this empty space. Do I want to industrialize it and build into a bunch of buildings, which is what I was originally planning on doing, Or do I want to do farming? Right, so the surface farms, we'd have to remove all the rockiness, because it's all carved out rock. Nutrients is terrible, so we'd have to fertilize it. There isn't anything necessarily stopping us from a fertility standpoint, because we'd have to fertilize it, right? Nutrients is nothing, so fertilizing would have to be a thing. But I think that's already the case with the peppers and the tea leaves, so we might do peppers or tea up here, I suppose. We are now making enough steam that we have positive steam generation when it's cold out and we need the heaters running, so that's good to see. And this, I think, has been allowing us to farm through the winter. The fields definitely look like farmers are still out working in them, so... Yeah, I suspect I've probably been overworking the farmers working on the mushroom fields. Probably need fewer fields per farmer to be optimal field to farmer ratio. Oh, this field's not even assigned to the full size off of what I was thinking. Oh, I never got around to moving the guy. You. I'm gonna move that specific guy, because I thought that guy was a swift guy. No, it was warm core. There we go. So once he brings fuel over to this one, and then over to this place, we'll have a warmer farming site. Although the winter should probably end reasonably soon. Taxes are due in 3 days. I think I have literally enough trinkets that we could pay the tax with the trinkets. We're gonna have more trinkets by the time the tax comes too. I suppose if that's the case, then that's an argument for starting to use the cotton for our own needs. We've got enough copper saved up, and the oil, or the steam situation is resolved. Get back to researching. Yeah, let's research the cotton gin, and then we'll research tea to figure out if we can use that big open spot for tea farming. It'll have to be fertilized, but I think we have to fertilize that everywhere, so that wouldn't be a stretch. Those are also a little low on fuel. Let's to buff fuel amounts. I'm going to swap the potash maker back from potash to fuel again. That roughly increases our fuel production by about 50%, with no other drawbacks other than we're not making fertilizer for the moment. Otherwise, nice, chill, late winter day. I'm going to set that up as a sea salt to table salt sifting tower, so we can turn the catalysts on the smokeries. And the other industries we'll want over here eventually is the bakery. How big is the bakery? Not that big. Yeah, let's get a bakery going. We got one mill. Bakery's arguably fast enough, or slow enough that I could probably run two, but we'll run the one because of the delivery issues for the moment. And then we'll probably try to get a warehouse over here for deliveries to be made to. Okay, that would be a reasonable place. Keep at it. Yeah, we'll do a small one. This is mainly for flour to be delivered to. And then we're just gonna have a conveyor belt that goes out and around the island. Although I suppose I could run it over the island, but be probably a little bit cleaner if we run it at least along most of the edges. Out around the island, out around the island, all the way to the other end of the island chain. But for the moment, we're just going to set this to get flour, so the flour gets dragged across the map. I guess we're fetching resources. Good thing we've got stockpiled steam. I'm out of miners. I'll nick them from the guys whose job is to fill holes. I'm not even sure they have holes to fill anymore. I'm just surprised they aren't complaining that they don't have. You're fetching, so presumably you think you do. Out of apprentices, although we still have the training facility, we can train up some more. And then you make table salt, please. Might be missing a hole somewhere, so we'll leave them alone a little bit more longer. See if they actually complain about having nothing to do. Once we have a decent amount of table salt saved up, like 20 or so, we'll start enabling table salt catalysts on the smokeries to get more food out of them. Here we go. Working bakery. That also wants table salt. Oh. You obviously will need to be plumbed into water to work. Oh, we got a camp. Okay, so the earthwork. Well, one of the earthworks is now complaining about not having anyone to work at. Assume. Okay, so they're trying to stockpile the stone for the next job, which they don't need. We don't need them to do that. Okay. You have no resources allowed, which is fine. I told you not to do anything because I want you to basically be a food storage location. So, store the high cuisine, store tea, store prepared food, stored bread, and smoked fish. I suppose if we end up with berry soup, do berry soup as well. Okay, there's day 184, which is the last day of winter of year 6, I believe. Not quite enough to get up to maximum approval, but pretty close. And again, biggest complaint is bland food. Second biggest complaint is mild pollution, so we have enough people traveling through polluted areas that it is becoming a problem. what we can do, and probably will do in the midterm, is I can move some of the boilers around. I think that's where the pollution's coming from. Plus, the farmers making wheat out the other end are moving through mild pollution. Eventually, long way off in the future, we will track steam all the way over to them, but that's way out in the future. For the moment, they just get to deal with the pollution, but they get to be warm, so... And we've got people happy enough that it's not a real problem. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. We'll probably play out a good chunk of spring here in Year 7 in the next part, which we're recording tonight. There may not... Well, yeah, so there will be another part up for you on tomorrow if you're on YouTube, because we're going to record one more tonight. Past there, I can't necessarily guarantee anything, because that will be in later streaming sessions. If you're watching on Twitch at the moment, we are going to continue after a short break. So I'm going to take a short break to get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea, and then we'll be back to record another probably 40 to 50 minute long part. I was trying to keep these 30 to 40 minutes, but I get a bit engrossed in playing and then play too much, which some of you are probably very appreciative of. I just realized I put this the wrong way down. I'll fix that next time. So until the next one, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next one, and bye for now.